Okay, this is section 2.5, part 4. Let's go ahead and check our answers into the original equation. So 2 times 2 plus square root of 26 over 2, that's squared, minus 8 times 2 plus square root of 26 over 2 minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so I'm going to write this out twice and then distribute. Okay, this will be 8 times 2 is 16, minus half of 8 is 4, square root of 26 minus 5 equals 0. Okay, this is going to be 2 times 2 is 4, plus, okay, 2 times square root of 26 over 2, that's just square root of 26, plus square root of 26 over 2 times 2, square root of 26, square root of 22 over 2 times itself. Well, that's going to be plus 26 over 4 minus 16. Oh, by the way, I need parentheses right there. Minus 4, 26 minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so now I need to multiply 2 times each of these terms. So I've got 8 plus 2 square root of 26 plus 2 square root of 26 plus, I'm going to take a 2 out of the bottom here and here, so that will be 26 over 2, which that's just 13. Okay, now I can drop the parentheses. And let's see, we'll clean up just a little bit. Combine these two, so 4, 26 minus 4 square root of 26. Combine this 8, this 13, and this 16, and this negative 5. Well, hey, all that equals to 0. Okay, so, whoops, equals to 0. These cancel out, so 0 equals 0. Now let's go back, and now we'll use the negative to minus square root of 26 over 2. So I'm going to change this to a minus sign, and we'll do the same thing. 2 times 2 minus the square root of 26 over 2 times 2 minus the square root of 26 over 2 minus, that's 16, minus 26 over, oops, sorry, half of 8 is 4, so that'll be 4. Square root of 26 minus 5 equals 0. Okay, 2 times, this will be 4, minus 2, actually the 2's will cancel out, so I just have a square root of 26. Okay, and then minus square root of 26 plus 26 over 4 minus 16 minus 4 square root of 26 minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so this will be 8 minus 2 square root of 26 minus 2 square root of 26. Take a 2, so when I multiply this 2 times this term here, I'm going to take a 2 out of both of those, so I'm left with the 2 on the bottom. Half of 26 is 13 minus 16 minus 4 square root of 26 minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so I have negative 4 square root of 26. And I see a tiny mistake. When I multiplied this negative 8 times this term here, I should have gotten a positive 4. Okay, plus 26, and then 8 plus 13 minus 16 minus 5. That comes out to 0 again. These cancel out, so 0 equals 0. So x equals 2 plus and minus square root of 26 over 2 is my answer. Okay, now let's move on to solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So if you're written in standard form, any quadratic equation can be solved using the quadratic formula. And here's your quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so a, b, and c are real numbers, and a cannot be 0. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a quadratic equation anymore. We've already gone through that. So let me show you how to work this. So we are already in standard form for this one. And we're going to go through and say our a is 1. That's the number right in front of here. Our b is negative 4 right here. And our c is negative 4 for this one right here. Okay, so x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And then you just plug and chug. So negative b, so negative a minus 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Okay, and then we just work through cleaning this up. So this will be a 4 plus or minus, that'll be 16. I got a negative and another negative, so this will be positive 16 all over 2. So this will be x is 4 plus or minus 32 over 2. Come over here, so 4 plus or minus. Now let's work 32, square root of 32. We just saw that 16 plus 16 is 32. We could write this as 2 times 16. So square root of 2 times the square root of 16. Oh, 16. That would be square root of 2 and, goodness, keep trying to write a 4 here. That would be square root of 2, and this would be 4. So it would be 4 square root of 2. Okay, so 4 square root of 2, and this is still all over 2. Okay, so I can take a 2 out of the top part here. Left with 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 2. A lot of 2's. These 2's will cancel, and I'm left with x is equal to 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2. And those will be my answers. And of course, we would go back and check it in the original equation. Okay, so let's go on to this one right here. So notice it's not written in standard form. So the first thing that I need to do, okay, so I'm going to move the 4 over. And then I'm going to find my A, which is 1, my B, which is 1, and my C, which is negative 4. And I'm going to plug that into this formula. Okay, so that's going to be negative 1 plus or minus, let's see, 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4 all over 2 times 1. Negative 1 plus or minus 1 plus 16 over 2. So 17 over 2. And looks like that's all I can do for that problem. I can't reduce down the square root of 17, so that's your answer. X is equal to, all of this right here is x is equal to. So x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus square root of 17 over 2. Okay, so let's look at this one. It's already in standard form. So A is 2, B is negative 8, C is negative 5. Okay, so there's our quadratic formula. So negative 8 plus or minus the square root of negative 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 5 all over 2 times 2. So that'd be a positive 8 plus or minus 8 times 8 is 64. And then I have a negative here and a negative here, so that'll be positive. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40 all over 4. Okay, and then I have 8 plus or minus the square root of, let's see, 64 plus 40, that's 104 over 4. Now what I would do is to deal with the square root of 104, I would take 104 and divide it by perfect squares. Like we know the square root of 4 is 2. We know the square root of 25 is 5. So if I try to divide 104 divided by 4, what I get is 26. So you could write this as 4 times 26 all over 4. And then let me erase this. So now what we have is 8 plus or minus the square root of 4, which is 2, and then times the square root of 26 all over 4. Okay, I can take a 2 out of the top part. I'm left with 4 plus or minus square root of 26 all over 4. I can take a 2 out here. I'm left with a 2 down here. So this will be 4 plus or minus the square root of 26 all over 2. And this is going to be your final answer. Okay, now this one is not in standard form, so the first thing we need to do is move that negative 2 over. So 5x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. And then find our a, our b, and our c. A is 5, b is negative 3, and c is 2. Okay, so negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so we have negative 3 plus or minus negative 3 squared minus 4 times 5 times 2 all over 2 times 5. So this will be 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus, okay, 4 times 5 is 20, 20 times 4, or 20 times 2 is 40, all over 10. And then 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 40. This will be negative 31 all over 10. Now let me move this over here. Okay, so then we've got 3 plus or minus. Now notice I've got a negative inside of an even root. So the way we deal with that is we pull an I out, so we have an imaginary number, 31 over 10. So there's your answer. X is equal to, and all these are x is equal to, 3 plus or minus I times the square root of 31 all over 10. And that's it for that one right there.